have a tale to tell you for Halloween, and I hope you enjoy it. It is a true story. It's uh, it's the reason I stopped doing investigations. Um, and although it's a very sad story, I think it's important that I tell people about it. I had an employee that who I grew very fond of, and we became very good friends. Um, she worked with me for probably 2 years. We went to dinner together. And I usually never do that with my employees. Um, but she was living in an apartment and with her boyfriend at the time. In fact, he would go out with us and investigate, and we were all very good friends and close. So she told me that before I met her, that she was experiencing paranormal events in her home. And I kind of didn't believe her because a lot of people, the paranormal community, some people are cuckoo and some people are legit, and she was legit. Okay, so I went to her house one evening for dinner. My daughter and I, Jess, went to her dinner, and she said the first thing you will notice is rapping on the walls. So sure enough, it started, and I thought, geez, behind her is like a warehouse. She lived in an odd apartment. It wasn't a typical apartment. It was like a big building that they split, a warehouse they split into still a warehouse and then her apartment, which was horribly built, but it served its purpose, I guess, for her. And the rapping started, and I thought, man, somebody's in the other room playing a joke on us. So she said, come on, I have the key. And we went in there, and there was nobody in there. It was like an automotive repair paint shop or something. So I thought, well, maybe it's mice, and no, because it would rap on command, and it would continue, and we'd ask it to do a 3, and it'd do a 3, and we'd ask it to do it once, it would do it once. We'd ask it to stop for 10 minutes and it wouldn't make a noise, but it was continually rapping it. Just crazy. So that was the first thing that we noticed that night. And then, being the investigator that I was back then, I took out my camera and just let it run. And when I took it home, I heard, at first I saw orbs, of course, and they weren't dust orbs, they weren't bugs, they weren't spider webs, it was right in my face, big orbs, and continually around her. They're attached to her. And so then I would hear voices saying, we don't want you. That was one. Second one was, I love the cat, because she had like 4 cats. And the third one was, we have her. So that was kind of creepy, and it was clear as day, these EVPs. And so my curiosity got worse, and this is why, I got in trouble with this situation. So I had another investigator who had an SLS camera. I didn't have one at the time. So he went to her home, and they located 3 spirits, and they're all in her closet hiding. The voices were one male and another woman. I heard a male and a woman. So they were hiding in the closet. They were all approximately the same size, except one was very large. So maybe it was a man and 2 children, I don't know. But we know enough about SLS that it wasn't on a corner, it wasn't, reflecting off something that would make an image of a stick figure or whatever. And so that was disturbing. So she then confided in me that she was being elevated out of her bed up, which I never believed. If it wasn't for her and the outcome of the situation, I still wouldn't believe it, but I believe it now that it did happen to her. She was constantly on line, telling people about what happened to her, doing EVP sessions online, TikTok, whatever, Facebook. Very into this phenomena that was happening to her, which is the worst thing you can do, is investigate in your home. So if you're hearing me, if you're watching this, do not investigate in your home. You will not get rid of whatever you attract. I believe 90% of spirits that talk to us, or even more, are not who they say they are. I think it's a trick. I think they're trying to hurt us. I don't know. I think that in some historical places they're trapped maybe, and they're not trying to hurt us. They're just trapped there. But there are some very evil spirits. And I'm saying this because of what happened to her. So the next thing that happened was that her boyfriend left. He couldn't stand it anymore. So they broke up. She was there alone. So these things started to get worse and worse. And she would come over to my house, and I'd film her. And I would see all of these orbs around her. My house was clean. We would film me. We'd film Jess, film the dogs. No orbs, no nothing. Put it back on her, and they were all around her. So I thought, oh my goodness. So the next thing that happened is I got a call. She was sending me these pictures of her, imaginary maggots coming out of her throat and her nose and every hole of her body. I'm sorry to be so graphic, but she would show me these images on her phone, and I wouldn't see them, but she was seeing them. So I went over to her house, took her to the ER, and the ER doctor was horrible. He thought she was a crackhead, and she looked like a crackhead. She lost a tremendous amount of weight, sores in her nose, sores down her throat from digging out these imaginary or spirit-induced, whatever it was, maggots that she swore were in her body. And I was in the hospital ER with her, and she was very, very upset and angry. But this girl was so sweet. She had such a kind soul. But when I hugged her, her whole body felt prickly. I don't even know why. She wasn't wearing anything prickly. It just felt like I was hugging a cactus. Not that extreme, but prickly. So then I said to her, because the doctor said, she's imagining it, and told me that she had dug her throat out, and I was concerned so much that I said to her, perhaps you're having a breakdown, or you're imagining all this stuff because of the stuff that's been happening in your home. And she looked up at me with, it wasn't her anymore, with these eyes that I didn't recognize, evil eyes. And I just said, okay, I'm gonna go home now, because I had Jess with me, and I'll send you an Uber to get you home, because she frightened me. So I was very concerned after that, and it was about a week later. I was trying to help my friend, and I was very concerned and scared for her. So I called in a person who was going to cleanse her house, and she said fine. She canceled twice before, even though she was in distress. So it wasn't her canceling, it was whoever had taken over her personality halfway, I think, at that point. She canceled. So this time we said we're coming. So the investigator, or a person who was going to cleanse the house, because I was not qualified to do it, I didn't feel I had enough experience. No, I don't think many people do. So please don't try to clean your house, and look extensively to find people that do know how to clean your house, because it can make it very much worse. Don't even sage your house. It's not good. Anyway, so the person was on their way to her home, and I was coming, and I got a frantic phone call from them, crying, got in a really bad car accident. Thank God she didn't get really hurt. I think she broke her arm, but it was head on. And she was crying, and later she told me that she saw the person that was coming towards her in a truck, but the person didn't have a face. And this person, I believe, she did this all the time. It really spooked her out, and I haven't heard from her since. She split. She just left. And then I realized after that, all I could do is pray for her. Oh, I had her one more time over my home. And I left her there with my dog because we were going to be gone probably 3 or 4 hours, and I didn't like to leave my dog that long because my dog had just, we lost our other dog, and he was upset still. So I asked her to stay with him, thinking, well, she's in my house. She was acting normal. We were laughing. I had seen her a couple times. She seemed normal again. And when I got home, my dog was shivering. And I realized later she must have hurt him, or put him in a room or closet, or hurt him. I didn't see any marks on him, but that was it. I had it. So come to find out later, she was working in a place like, dancers and stuff, waitressing, and she would never do that. She was into the Lord, and this devil thing, spirits, whatever they were, took my friend's life. And I don't think she's alive. I searched for her. She's nowhere. She was a person who was always on Facebook, constantly. She's nowhere to be found. So I know it's not a pleasant, happy Halloween story, but maybe it'll make you think twice if you use a Ouija board, or if you're communicating with spirits in your home, or you're so curious you just want to do one EVP session. Don't do it. I'm telling you, please don't do it. I have another story for you, but I'll leave that for tomorrow. So I hope you come back and see me, and thank you for listening to my horrible story. But thank you so much, and thank you for watching.